y'all doing? This is Preacher Man R&B, and this is another Arrow Reviews Thursdays. This week is Season 1, Episode 9. Now, this was the mid-season finale of the first season, and we did a lot of backstory, and we find out a lot in this episode. We'll start off with the flashback scenes. What happens is Oliver's still in the cave, and then Shadow's father comes in and gives him some water and brings the guy who had Oliver tortured to Oliver. And he tells Oliver that this guy has a plane so Oliver can get off the island. So they're taking this guy hostage so that way he to take them to the plane so Oliver could go home. And we get some backstory about the island. And he tells Oliver that China had this island and made it a prison for the worst of the criminals. That way they wouldn't be on the mainland. They can send them to this island because they was the worst criminals they had. And he tells Oliver that his team was assigned to go and to get rid of these criminals and dispose of this. And he tells them that Shadow's father was one of the criminals, and Oliver asked who else was, and he told him the one that tortured him was one of the criminals as well. Now, like I said the first time we saw this guy, at first I thought this was Deathstroke. But later on in the season, we're going to be introduced to the guy who really is Deathstroke, and we're going to get some more backstory about this guy, and I'll cover that when we get to that part. Well, what happens is it's a trap. This guy traps Oliver and Shadow's dead, and they capture Shadow's father, and Oliver escapes, and that's the end of the flashback scenes. What's happened in present day is that there's this copycat archer that's killing people that Oliver's done hit off the list, and we find out this is the Dark Archer from the comics, and we find out at the end of the episode this is Malcolm Merlyn, and in the comics he's the Dark Archer. He's the Arrow's arch enemy, and he tells Oliver when he's fighting them when they first meet up. The Dark Archer has these hostages, and the Arrow comes and to stop them and to free these hostages. And him and the Dark Archer get in a fight, and during this fight, Arrow gets shot 3 times in the back and falls out the window, and walks for Diggle to come help him. So Oliver wakes up in the hospital, and Diggle tells him how he got fractured ribs, concussion, and he's banged up pretty bad. And his family comes in, and then Diggle tells him how he told his family how he was in a motorcycle accident, and 18-wheeler pulled up in front of him, and he had a wreck, and that was the cover-up for this. But anyway, at the end of the episode, we find out that Malcolm Merlyn's the Dark Archer because he takes the mask off, and Malcolm Merlyn has Walter kidnapped. And him and Moira Queen's talking, and Malcolm Merlyn tells her that she'll have Walter back in 6 months when their plan comes to fruition. And she tells him, "How can you not feel nothing where millions of innocent people will die after this happens?" And he said he would feel something. He would feel accomplishment. So my question is, what do you think, if you ain't watched this season yet, what do you think Malcolm Merlyn's plan for the Glades is? As always, Preacher Man R&B signing out. Guys, Jesus is awesome. See y'all next time.